there's enormous opportunities to know more about our animals. At the moment, you don't know what you don't know, and really what we're providing is that transparency.
The benefits of using these technologies aren't just in the short term. It's quite remarkable the gains I've been able to make in the short term and then the effects that'll have over the long run. I'm Luke Arbuckle and I'm a farmer 100 kilometres west of Goondiwindi, having beef cattle and dryland cropping. A number of years ago I bought a new spray rig, keeping up with technology and increasing efficiency. And one of the technologies that it had was individual nozzle control. It made me realise that the ability here to target weeds where they are, and I started asking questions from manufacturers, and that led me to InFarm and Jerome. So as soon as I was aware of who he was, I sought him out to be able to solve these technology issues we have.
So what we've developed is a system that allows farmers to target these fallow weeds, which means that it's more cost effective and it's also better for the environment because we're reducing the amount of chemical. And in fact, we've saved farmers up to 97.5% of their chemical bill just by simply targeting exactly where the weeds are. The way the drone to tractor solution works is pretty simple. What we do is we fly the paddock using a drone. From there, we upload those images into our processing platform where we apply our AI, or artificial intelligence. From there, we produce a tractor-ready file that can be integrated with your standard variable rate tractor. This is the tractor that every farmer has on their farm, and we do that via a USB. From there, the farmer simply goes and sprays their paddock like normal, and we'll literally control the nozzles or the sections to literally target exactly where the weeds are.
Initially, when I started working with InFarm, it was about saving chemical, and after doing the initial flights and the analysis of my paddocks with the data he collected, there was just so many more benefits. The direction of farming, the erosion issues that showed up. He's been able to provide a file that's built a line that the tractor will automatically follow for the GPS in terms of building the contour.
The future of AI is very bright. We've been developing tools to put the power of big data analytics and artificial intelligence in the hands of the farmers. And the next leap in innovation will come from the farmers, and we can't wait to see what the future of farming is, because they are some of the best in the world. And have continued to lead the world in terms of agricultural innovation, and Queensland has a rich history of being leaders in this field.
I remember the story, my granddad went to Ag College to learn to plough with an 8-horse plough because that was the best technology of the day, and he retired with GPS steering on his tractor. And I've started my career with GPS steering on the tractor, and the innovations I'm starting to see in terms of AI, big data and the management of individual parts of my paddock. I can't wait to see where this innovation continues to go and the benefits it's going to continue to bring.
We've seen a lot of platforms with satellite imagery, drone imagery, all that sort of stuff. And data farming appears to be a very simple to use platform. We can save some time without having a whole lot of complicated steps to actually access it.
The data farming platform is about turning something that is boutique to mainstream. So it enables agronomists to take that data and to be able to use it and apply it back to their farmers.
We've got a network of 32 agronomists, and I can see very real value in them in terms of using it as a tool to save them some time in the field. Simply because it's so accessible and so easy, it'll allow them to identify areas of the field that they need to target with crop scouting a lot more easily and save a lot of time wandering around the field.
So within 1 year, we've already got 6,000 farms in the system, which about 40,000 fields, and over 3.5 million hectares of processed data now to a field level. So uptake has been phenomenal. But we've also got some great user cases where agronomists have saved like 150 tonnes of gypsum, for example, from a simple image map.
Even though our paddock average might be still 5 or 6.5 tonne or something, you're looking at sections of it that are poor and sections of it that are extremely good. And that's what we're seeing, and then we're being able to go to those areas and go, well, what's going on here? Can we find the issue? Can we identify it, or is it yet another mystery of what we do?
I'd encourage all agronomists to log in, have a look. Access is free. There's no downside to having a look to see whether there's a benefit. And I think every agronomist that has a look, there'll be a very real benefit that'll be identifiable quite quickly.
All you have to do is log on to our website,
datafarming.com.au. Anyone can sign up, upload their paddocks and farms, as many as they want, and they can see the data instantly.
We're inspired by new technologies all the time in our business, whether it be in the packing shed or on the farm.
For this reason, we see a lot of applications where robots can improve the quality of life for farmers, growers, but also consumers.
Hi, I'm Darryl Boardman, Director of Sunny Spot Packhouse, and we predominantly grow avocados and pack and market avocados. Staff's one of our biggest issues, whether it be in our packing shed or on our farms. DAF came to us with this startup company called Lyro, and that had this robot who could put fruit out of the machine into a box. We saw that as a great thing to look at because staffing overall, people get sick, and this might be one way of alleviating some of those issues we have.
Today we're here at Sunny Spot. We have deployed a robot packing avocados out of the line directly into a cardboard box. Our robot does this by combining computer vision with machine learning and robotic grasping. It sees an avocado coming down the line, makes a decision of how to grasp the fruit without destroying it, picking it up and placing it perfectly into the cardboard box. Even though today we're packing avocados, the technology behind is not limited to a specific produce or specific item. We can pack avocados today, mangoes tomorrow.
I think from the avocado industry point of view, we're a very progressive industry, and a lot of this new robotics technology in times of disruption, such as natural disasters, sickness within the business, pandemics and the like, the machine can continue working for us and keep our business running.
The future for robotics and AI is bright, specifically in agriculture, where there's a lot of dirty, dull and dangerous jobs, which we usually refer to as the 3D in robotics. We're just at the start of our robotic deployments. We're looking forward to deploying lots more of our robotic systems to help people out with tasks that require hand-eye coordination on a daily basis.
Oh, look, I think for other growers and people to embrace technology, you've got to keep an open mind with all of this stuff, and some is going to work well and some isn't going to work. And I don't think you ever want to get locked into one or the other, but if you don't let them explore the opportunities in your business, you'll never know what may or may not.
Agriculture, a critical industry that we rely on every day for our food and fibre. Truly successful agriculture has always been a delicate relationship between soil, water, plant and animal. Striking the right balance and optimising can result in higher output and positive environmental impact. Over the years, farming has become complicated, whether it's export markets, whether it's domestic policy, or whether it's just the weather. Quite frankly, it's never been more complicated to turn seed into grain or grass into meat. So, let's make farm management simpler. Opterra, the farm planning tool putting soil, water, plant and animal in one place at your fingertips. With mapping, soil nutrition, feed budgeting, mob movements, tasks and treatments for crop and livestock recorded accurately and more efficiently, allowing farmers and agronomic and livestock advisors to work together easily on a single platform, real time, to assess the science and the dollars, to balance and optimize like never before. We believe that your software should work for you, simplifying the data, learning from the past, and looking forward to the future. We at BackPaddock invite you to join the Optera journey. We've been committed to Australian agriculture for over 20 years, and we'd love to work with you.
Drought, no one likes drought. Drought's awful. Reduces production, causes great financial hardship. But in an innovation context, it's the time where you want to be doing things differently.
We wait till a drought comes along and then we spend a lot of our energy, working out how we're going to get through it, and by then usually it's too late and we end up making reactive decisions. If we can discuss these things now when there's a little less pressure and we've probably got a little bit more time, people are probably in a financially a lot better position to adopt some different stuff.
If we've learned anything from all of Australia's history is that there will be another drought just around the corner. So I'm the director of the Tropical North Queensland Drought and Innovation Hub, and one of the key things that we're really looking to do is create more opportunities for our agricultural industries and their communities to innovate, to become more resilient in the drought space, and to have better pre-preparedness ready for the next drought.
To be able to have something like the hub actively operating in a community like Charters Towers, I think will be great for the industry and for the community. A good place for like-minded producers to get together and tease out some ideas and hopefully work out a few different ones and a few different ways of dealing with some of these tougher seasons that we've been seemingly getting a lot more often lately.
It's a network from across the country, using local people to implement strategies. So it's really exciting to see how that's all going to happen, and getting everyone on board is a really good thing.
It's really there to bring people together and start those conversations around, the research has been done, the sort of solutions that are available, and trying to get them, more understood, more out there, but also receive feedback.
So we're running forums, field days, and most importantly we're attending already organised industry events, whether that's be in the grazing industry, in horticulture or other agricultural industries and within their communities, so that we can listen and learn about what the real local issues are, and then really engage in a conversation around what are the local solutions, what are some of the things that you mightn't have even thought of before that things like technology or other innovations could bring to the table to actually help.
So research in Agtech ranges from very high technology through to people who can package and manufacture things, to people that can put all these things together to make a solution. And then we need a whole lot of people on the ground who can communicate with producers, get their knowledge, feed it back into that solution.
I think a grazing business in Northern Australia, you always have to be thinking ahead. And also keeping that worst case scenario in the back of your mind, what happens if it doesn't rain? Having those options in place and being able to make decisions early is very important.
Yeah, tech is definitely crucial with modern farming. I've seen the benefits that taking notice of research can have within your business. We can actually have some input into where funding is going to go and getting it into the right areas and getting scientists and producers in a room talking to each other so that we're not like reinventing the wheel.
It'll be absolutely crucial that what we learn in the T&Q hub is shared across all of the hubs across Australia. Things that are learnt out of Tasmania will have application in South Australia, Western Australia, Queensland. So collaboration and sharing right across all of the hubs is fundamental to success overall for our agricultural industries right across Australia.
We as much want to learn from other areas and what other hubs in other regions are doing as well. But I think, what we do up here, as you said, we definitely think there's things that are common. We want to share what we've learned in the practices, but also we want to receive what others have done and learned as well.
We're dealing with climate variability every day. That's just how we live. And a drought resilient future to me is just being as well prepared as we possibly can. Having the infrastructure in place, so that we can react early.
As we get better and better established over time, we'll be there to help farmers, graziers and their communities really identify the key issues around drought resilience and preparedness.
Another drought is, there's not really anything surer, so.
We need more people. We need people to adopt, we need people to want to get involved and participate. And if we get enough people and enough energy, we're going to make Australia's primary production systems a lot more reliable. We can turn drought from a dreaded disaster to something that we can manage, overcome and just make part of the primary production system.
Cooktown. It's a place where you can look back into history and learn. A place where you can think, feel, connect. There's endless coast and trails to explore, hidden gems to find, and places to just stop and relax. Discover something great. Discover Cooktown.
Farmers face many challenges, and the weather obviously is a big part of that. But understanding the weather and utilising good information to make decisions is what this project is all about. We've partnered with the Queensland Government to deploy a range of weather stations and other on-farm weather monitoring equipment, helping to develop a microclimate macadamia monitoring network and decision-making tool.
I think it's a really exciting time for agriculture and agtech in Australia. There are new products being brought to market all of the time. But it's really important to give growers access to this technology in a way that they're supported. It's an important part of ensuring the future of the agtech community going forward into the future. Growers having access to weather stations, it is a necessity. And to be able to help the industry along by assisting with that is a great opportunity for us. So as part of our project, we're understanding that technology and implementing into commercial farms is actually quite a complex project. But off the back of what we're doing, we're finding that agtech adoption is actually increasing, which is a fantastic result and really just highlights the need for growers to feel supported in making these leaps into the new agtech world.
So all the data that we're collecting from the weather stations and the extra sensors, they're going onto our macadamia weather network, which will be based on the AMS website. And this will be a centralised platform where you can click on that map and see real-time weather data for that location. And so with this data sharing arrangement and being able to have so many stations online in the network means that it can benefit not just ourselves as the macadamia industry, but also growers as a whole in Queensland.
Our plan, working with the Australian Macadamia Society, is to develop a model for disease prediction. When we've established the disease forecasting models, we will be able to incorporate it into the weather station as a dashboard that the growers will be able to forecast and predict when they are at risk and actually time the management practice that they need to do.
My name is Rowan Orford. I am the Grower Technical Manager for Macadamias Australia. So since we've had the weather station technology installed onto the farm, it's allowed us to really start integrating some of the other tools on the farm and allowing us to pick up unique sort of connections between some of the probes we've got on the farm and the climate, which we would not have been able to see. We are now able to understand and say that that specific weather condition is actually the driver of that number. And that's really been very useful for us because it allows us to then say, okay, well, now that we understand that relationship, we can actively vouch for that technology as an investment. As we go into the future, the farmer is going to start driving what technology is going to have to provide.
farming for 22 years. We have 45 hectares of water lease area, I have about 18,000 bags, about 3 million oysters. With the new monitoring situation we've got sensors put out in the water which gives us temperature and salinity, and this is helping us to understand what's happening out there. So the system is surprisingly quite simple. So they have what's called a gateway that's powered through our internet service here. Then we have a weather station that's connected to that as well via Bluetooth. And then we have the sensor that's out in the water which pings back the messages to the gateway, which is then put into the system and put on our dashboard. So it's a great time saver.
It's been good to integrate the technology into the business. I do check it every morning. Previously to having the sensors and the data that we have now, a farming day for us would be going out there and we'd have to check the oysters. So physically opening them, checking the condition. We never had a way of sort of measuring the salinity. So now having that, it's so good that, you know, I can sit in the kitchen or in the processing room, check the data, whether, you know, sometimes I might look because it's high tide or low tide, because water temperature and salinity will change. So it's been extremely interesting and will benefit us well.
From my perspective, the benefits of technology are enormous. That we can set up now remote sensors to measure, for us, water quality data that we can see live on our mobile phones. Now we can get continuous information. Our sensors are reading 24/7, 365 days a year. The ability to have that much data at our fingertips is hugely beneficial for our farming business. We've got the capacity now where the limitation is the limitation on our own ingenuity, not on the science that's needed to actually take the measurements and send them back to us.
When it comes down to tech, I would put it back to, because I'm old enough, is we never used to have mobile phones. Now you can't live without them because you've got all the information in your hand.
With the information we're getting using technology, we're able to better farm and better predict the quality of product we're taking to the market.
Certainly I would advise all farmers that the future ag tech is going to be crucial for everyone, and if you're not using it, certainly start looking at it because it will be a big part of our future. My name's Tom Arnott. We're predominantly a irrigated cotton farm and we grow winter crops in a rotation, and we've been farming here for 27 years. As an irrigated cotton grower, you know, over the years we've faced a lot of pressure on our water resource, so we've been driving to get more efficient with our water use, to better manage our water and better manage our crops for higher yields. When I first started here, we were using the Neutron probe moisture sensors. They were pretty old technology, been around since the 80s, so we were always on the front foot looking for faster, better technology. And evokeAG came along in the early 2000s and started with this technology, and we started using it then.
We developed evokeAG to supply initially weather data, real-time weather data and soil moisture data to our clients. So Tom's got most of our products on his property. So with the connectivity and sensors on Tom's farm, evokeAG's able to present that in a simple app. So Tom at any one time, anywhere around his farm, is able to pull up his information in real time on his phone or his iPad or his desktop computer.
So the channel sensors we find really handy, you know, instead of having to physically drive down to the paddock, you know, every 2, 3, 4 hours during the night, you can just get up during the, you know, wake up at midnight, check it on your iPad and go, oh, it's right, no worries, back to bed, you know. So that has certainly, you know, streamlined our labour. 20 years ago I used to ring my mate at Mungandai and go, how's the weather look out there this Savo, mate, you know? Whereas now you just look on the radar and you say, look, no, storm's coming, I'll hold off that irrigation, you know. So it's certainly, again, enabling us to make a lot better informed decisions.
Their water use efficiency has improved over 50%. The return on investment's high. I think the future's very bright.
with how quickly the technology is moving. You know, what we've seen come in the last 5 years, I'm pretty excited about what's coming in the next 5 to 10.
Agtech, in my opinion, is one of the most important things in our future. There's so much out there that is readily available. You can go buy it off the shelf, but we're not seeing that in Australia yet.
I'm Ashley and this is Ben Martin, and along with Bernadette and Gary Martin, we are Mardo's Mangoes in Bowen, North Queensland.
Currently we have around 20,000 trees now spread across 3 farms, so it's grown from quite a small business back in 1990 to what it is today, and still growing. We saw that there was a need to innovate for some of the practices that we're doing currently on farm. So we searched around to try and find a software program that suited our business and the way we operate, and we couldn't really find anything. So we made the decision to build an app, and it's evolved over the number of years that we've had it.
So it allows us to track every tray that is put through the farm from the moment it's packed all the way from here to the consumer through the supply chain with photos.
And I suppose one of the best things is you know, stock inventory and distribution centre management. I can get a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning from an exporter chasing another 540 Class 1 size 10 mangoes. And I don't have to hop in the car and come down to the shed and look through the cold room. I can open the iPhone up while I'm talking to him, laying in bed, and say, yes, pallet number 576, 578 and 572, they're free, I can assign them to you. He'll email the purchase order through, that'll get uploaded into the app, and then I assign those pallets to that purchase order, and then that sets in motion, you know, the freight bookings and everything like that down the track. So it just saves so much time, and it also gives us the ability to make quick decisions. So, you know, throughout any day of our harvesting season, we can sit there and we know exactly what our true cost of production is, what the quality of fruit that we're getting off that orchard is, whether the yield is up or down. And that's really important to be able to make those informed decisions, and making those decisions off data that we captured in our farm management app that we developed. It's really transformed into a critical part of our business now. So we're looking at what we can do for our children now as well. So if we can adopt this innovative technology and give us a benefit to our business, well, it's going to benefit our children and hopefully, you know, their children as well.
Queensland Smart Farms is a network of farms and industry learning centres dedicated to advancing Australia's agriculture and food industries through agtech innovation. This network provides testbeds for new farming and supply chain practices and technologies to drive and support industry adoption. Combining world-leading research, development and extension programs with state-of-the-art facilities and established industry networks, Queensland Smart Farms are designed to work in a range of climates, soils, production systems and supply chains. The Central Queensland Smart Cropping Centre, a Queensland Smart Farm, is a flagship innovation facility located in Emerald, based on 863 hectares of research and commercial farming operations. The centre brings together research, development and extension in areas like farming systems, agronomy, crop innovation and plant protection. Supported by the latest innovations in agtech and data sciences, the centre will deliver world-class research for Queensland's cropping sector. Collaboration is at the heart of the work undertaken by the Central Queensland Smart Cropping Centre, bringing together a rich network of organisations to build an agtech ecosystem focused on future farming systems for a variable climate. The Central Queensland Smart Cropping Centre will focus its resources on sustainable cropping systems and crop protection and improvement in the grains, pulses and cotton commodities. The Centre's vision enables research, development and extension in Central Queensland to be reimagined as contemporary and relevant for a technology-enabled and data-rich world. Underpinned by data science and data engineering, research, development and extension activities and collaborations will focus on delivering outcomes that specifically demonstrate how technology and data will support farming systems in the Central Queensland environment of climate variability. RD&E within the centre will focus on grains, pulses and cotton. Climate adaptive, sustainable and resilient farming systems. Automation-ready production systems. Market integrated supply chains. And opportunity for commercial plot and field trials. The Central Queensland Smart Cropping Centre will work with and contribute to the growth of the broader agtech ecosystem to deliver impact to both early-stage agtech companies as well as local producers and innovators. The Centre's technology focus aims to investigate how agtech can be implemented to reduce the impact of the challenges we face in agriculture today and tomorrow. Utilise automation of machinery, robotics and drone technologies to increase efficiency and reduce risk and the impact of labour shortages. Provide access to technology and learning opportunities to inform, educate and validate, as well as the viability of the technology. And promote collaboration and partnerships with universities, industry and the community to ensure a united direction for agriculture in Central Queensland. For more information, visit daf.qld.gov.au/smartfarms. The use of drones in vegetable farming and agriculture in general has been increasing in recent years. Despite the hype around their operation, drones are essentially an aerial platform to carry out different tasks or capture information based on the payload or sensors they carry. The advantage of drones over other crop sensing platforms is that they can be deployed easily, cover relatively large areas quickly, and achieve ultra-high resolution image capture. The sensor is the critical element for data capture and determines what the drone can be used for. Options include digital RGB images for 3D crop model or automated plant counts, multi-spectral sensors for crop sensing, thermal cameras, beneficial insect dispersal, and chemical tanks for spot spraying. Stuart Grigg is a private vegetable agronomist based in Werribee, Victoria. He commenced using drones as part of his agronomy services.
The agtech space is a really interesting one that I've been watching for a number of years. And I guess there's two parts of the agtech space or the drone space that I've actually focused on for the business and for actually providing value to the clients that I'm working with. One is around plant counts and understanding exactly how many plants are in the field, how many plants have established, and then we can actually start doing forecasts for how much is going to harvest and add value to businesses that are further down the supply chain that are then trying to market that produce to the retailer and onwards to the consumer. The second part of it is understanding the mapping side of it and looking at crop uniformity within a field. Looking at crop uniformity in response to soil types, looking at crop uniformity in response to soil nutrition, and looking at crop uniformity overall, which we can then relate back to plant counts and give an estimation of what sort of yield we expect to get off each crop each time we go in and harvest.
Automated plant counts can be used to forecast yield in hand harvested crops such as lettuce and brassicas that currently don't have any yield monitoring capability. Validation of the core algorithms by the Queensland Department of Agriculture and Fisheries has found accuracies of higher than 99%. Andrew Johansson is Mulgowy's Sustainable Farming Practices Manager. Mulgowy has been working with the Queensland Department of Agriculture and Fisheries to understand how drones can add value and provide valuable information to vegetable businesses.
We've worked hard with DAF and Hort Innovation, and they've been very helpful for us to be able to get on the front foot with what the latest technology is, which way should we be going with innovation and sustainability. Initially, a whole lot of people wanting to try drones and throw them up and see what they can do. There's been a lot of data produced, and a lot of it just how to interpret that data has been the issue, and the amount of size of the data. But they seem to be overcoming a lot of those obstacles, and I find drones pretty exciting. The opportunities are pretty endless, and we've got a lot to learn yet on what they can actually do for us.
Mulgowy has also been looking at crop sensing using drones for both estimating yield and maturity in corn and green beans. Multispectral imagery from drones can be used to detect areas of higher and lower plant vigour, which can impact on crop maturity at harvest. While this imagery can indicate areas that are underperforming or stressed, it can't determine the cause of this stress or growth constraint. This requires ground truthing in the field. With lots of hype around drones in agriculture, Stuart Grigg and Mulgowy Farming Company are demonstrating how drones can be used to provide useful information for vegetable businesses. Knowing where to start with precision agriculture in vegetables can be daunting. As part of a Hort Innovation-funded national project in precision agriculture, the Queensland Department of Agriculture and Fisheries has identified some initial steps for vegetable growers to get started with precision agriculture. All precision agriculture approaches are enabled by precise location data, so the starting point for any precision approach is always guidance. It provides the basis for geo-referencing. Without this, it's difficult to move to any precision farming approach. RTK tractor guidance systems also have the capability to log elevation data. This type of map can be used to model surface water flows and forms the basis for drainage modelling to inform levelling operations and drainage works. As this data can be captured with on-farm machinery, this requires minimal capital outlay, except for data processing and modelling. Crop variability can be assessed using crop sensing imagery without having to invest heavily in new technology. This can be easily trialled using one of the freely available platforms, which is generally low resolution, with higher resolution available at a cost. The intense nature of vegetable production means that high-resolution data will be of most benefit. Drone imagery is another option for high-resolution imagery. Similarly, there are a range of soil mapping technologies that can be used to understand soil variability. While the type of soil mapping used depends on the issue, all requires some soil sampling to ground truth the mapping data and relate to measured soil parameters. Once you've obtained the crop or soil imagery, the next steps are critical in understanding what the mapping data means in the field or crop. Any spatial data collected on the farm will need clearly identified field boundaries to assist with data collection and process. This can be easily done in Google Earth by creating what's known as a polygon around individual fields and labelling these with field IDs. or by mapping field boundaries with tractor guidance. Tim Neal is a consultant who's been providing precision agriculture services for 20 years.
If you want to look at getting into precision ag technologies, the thing is to really start with the problem that you're trying to solve. Too many times we jump into technology without looking at what are we actually doing it for and what is the problem we're solving. And I guess in reality you've got to start with the basics anyway, and getting good guidance systems on your tractors is absolutely number one. And I think particularly in horticulture, where you are farming a lot of flat lands, using that data to actually determine where drainage should be, that's probably another really logical next step. If we look also at other technologies though, I would start looking at the soil types. So some simple zonal based soil testing of some information that you might have already have, or grid based soil sampling is a really good starting point, and very low cost in horticulture to do that. Another step above that is really about measuring the plant. And I think measuring NDVI imagery from satellite is a really good choice. In horticulture, however, you really need the higher resolution product. So if you're going to collect imagery from satellite, you really want to be in the sub 1 metre resolution type of category, or using drones if you have access to those types of suppliers. But it's all about measuring the plant, and we're trying to reduce the variability that's in the crop. But you've got to understand what's driving this variability. There's no point just collecting data and not knowing what's causing that, and you can't find a solution until you understand the problem. And that's why ground truthing is so important. So we don't see technology like this replacing agronomists or field staff or farmers or whatever. It's all about helping them do a better job quicker, more targeted, and trying to reduce variability in fields.
In summary, key tips for getting started include: understand why you want to implement precision agriculture. Start small and pilot tools before expanding. Research or seek advice prior to adopting new technology. Finally, understands that PA is for the longer term. You won't be able to fix variability immediately, as it's an ongoing management approach.
The positive impact is time. I mean, time is really important to us. Everybody's time poor these days. The app is right there in your hand. Everybody is on the same page in the business. It's not a paper trail, it's just a tap on the app. My husband Bradley and I operate a beef breeding and finishing business, Christmas Creek Cattle Company in central Queensland. Before, I would have lots of paperwork to shuffle and give to people entering into our property to carry out work, whereas now I can just use the app and forward them basic inductions, and they email it back to me, and the information is all in one place. I store it digitally.
SafeStation is a workplace health and safety system, custom made and custom designed for agricultural businesses, which is important because agriculture is still the most dangerous workplace for people to work in. It's the combination of hazards within an agricultural business that makes it so dangerous. Cherub sort of identified that gap 5 or 6 years ago and incorporated SafeStation into the products and services that we deliver, because we could see that workplace health and safety, although it was so important, was often put in the too hard basket. With SafeStation, we go out into the businesses and we spend 2 days with that business developing their system, taking really everything about what they do, about how they work, and often how they work safely, and pulling it out of their head and documenting that into a system that they can use going forward.
I found that it's a lot more efficient than just having your standard paper trail, which is what we used to do. So instead of having to go into the office and find the correct forms and paperwork or print them out, now it's just accessible on anyone's phone or an iPad. So you're saving a lot of time, which is obviously saving you money.
I believe that Safe Station is an essential part of our farm operation because with our duty of care as employers, it allows us a common platform to collect all the policy and collect all the information. Any type of ag tech, if it can save you time and money, it's invaluable because we are short always on staff, we're short on time, so if there's an app that can help you or any sort of digital technology, I think that we need to take it up.
Rob Toll from Greenvale Pastoral produces peas, seed potatoes, poppies, grass seed and hemp, along with sheep and lamb on his property near Cressy in Tasmania's northeast. Rob has a history of precision agriculture adoption. In 2002, he implemented RTK guidance, followed by a range of precision agriculture innovations, including variable rate technologies and grid mapping for pH and nutrients. The landscape and soil types in this area of Tasmania mean that waterlogging can significantly impact vegetable production and yield, and in worst cases, cause crop loss. So more recently, Rob has been partnering with a national Hort Innovation funded project to implement terracotta and iGrade for precision surface drainage development.
Waterlogging over the years has caused us a lot of issues and a lot of cost in reduced production of crops. So over the years we've implemented different techniques to reduce that waterlogging. It's critical that during the winter months and also after big rain events that we can get that water off our paddocks as fast as we possibly can so that our crop remains healthy and obviously we can maximise our production that we need. So the land planning is one part of that operation, and I suppose you just keep progressing and you see new ideas, and we've been land planning probably for 5 or 6 years with a very basic setup, and I suppose it came the right time in my life when I had the time or I wanted to take the next step of how do we get better at doing this, and let's try and put some science and some sort of precision ag behind this land planning. And we took the plunge and bought our own machine and then put the technology on the tractor and on the machine to do that, and it sort of snowballed from there, and I'm very confident that what we've done is certainly going to help our production.
Terracotta is an in-cab software package for land forming operations and the efficient use of water. The process starts with an accurate elevation survey of the field. Terra Design software uses elevation data to optimise the drainage design. The field design is then loaded into Terracotta. iGrade then automates movement of the plane. Accurate elevation data is key to developing good drainage models and minimising the amount of soil to be moved.
We're dealing with 5mm increments on our land plane, and this is over a whole paddock. So it's absolutely critical that the elevation data is perfect to start with, or else we end up shifting more soil than we need to, which at the end of the day is money, and it's really wasting everyone's time.
With accurate data, a series of different water flow models can be run to assess how water currently moves within the field. Within set parameters, aspects of the field design can be changed to simulate different scenarios and assess the best practical drainage outcomes. The final field design is then uploaded into Terracotta. This technology is not about levelling the paddock, but rather dividing the paddock into multiple catchment areas, each feeding into drainage lines. It's working with the topography of the field to minimise cut and fill.
By getting the water to run off our ground faster, it's better for our soils. They're not waterlogged, so the soil health is better. So it's a snowballing effect, and that's the whole big picture that we need to look at. You know, we're just not here to mine our ground and take our money and run. We're here for the next generation, and you know, if we can improve that ground and make it more profitable but more sustainable at the same time, well, that's a win-win for us.
Precision drainage using I-grade and terracotta, redirecting surface water to minimise crop loss through minimal soil movement and rationalisation of drains. Variable rate technologies are based on the principle that not all fields are uniform and therefore crops should not be managed uniformly. They allow inputs such as fertiliser, lime, irrigation and pesticides to be applied at different rates across a field and are increasingly being used in vegetable production. VR applications are based on soil mapping with soil analysis or ground truthing to confirm which inputs are required and for accurate prescription map development. David and Will Wishaw use VR technologies to help them with their production of peas, beans, shallots and onions near Carrick, Tasmania.
So we're currently using two sorts of variable rate technology. One is in variable rate irrigation, and we've also just recently invested in a machine that'll map soil pH. And since investing in that machine, we're now actually applying lime variable rate. We're trying to increase productivity with the area we've got, and as far as the variable rate fertiliser, or lime in our case, was to try and even up the pH. We're finding that we've got pHs as low as low 5s and as high as 7.2, 7.3, so we're sort of targeting a pH of somewhere between 6.5 and 7, and with the variable rate spreading and with the Verus mapping, we're working towards our goal.
The Wishaws use Verus soil pH mapping to map pH variability across their fields. Based on the soil pH map, fields are split into management classes or zones. Lime application rates are assigned to each zone to form a prescription map. The VR controller adjusts production output according to the rate for each zone. Variable rate irrigation allows irrigation application rates to be varied in response to soil type and crop water requirements. EM38 soil mapping generally forms the basis for VR irrigation as it depicts differences in soil characteristics, and this includes soil types. Irrigation rates are then adjusted based on each soil type. Jayco Power manages the irrigation at Perilla Premium in South Australia. Perilla produces carrots, potatoes and onions and has progressively installed variable rate irrigation across the dune swale terrain they farm in South Australia's east.
We started about 8 years ago when we identified we had some problem areas in our paddocks. There was a lot of waterlogging problems. So we do EM mapping and elevation mapping to get to a basic irrigation map. So we put the two together, and that's just a starting point for our irrigation. So we use variable rate on the pivot, and then through the season we fly the drone and we check plant health. We build data, and our biggest aim was to get a better quality produce because we get more money for premium produce. So because we put water where we need it, we use water more efficient. And the old conventional pivot gives water in a straight line from the start point to the end. It gives water over heavy soil, over sandy soil. They all got the same amount of water. Now we can decide to put less on Lauby country and more on sand, so it makes it a bit more flexible.
Key factors to consider whether variable rate technology is an appropriate approach include: is the variability large enough to be of economic concern? Is the variation caused by something that can be managed using VRT, such as nutrient deficiency or pH? Can the variability be clustered into zones of manageable size? Variable rate technologies target crop inputs to where they're required. This can result in reduced crop inputs, similar crop inputs applied in a more targeted way, or more crop inputs to achieve improved uniformity in soil parameters. Variable rate technology is growing a sustainable future, saving precious resources and allowing us to harvest a higher percentage of premium quality produce.
Bundaberg region has a lot going for it. It's got fantastic climate, good water, land, makes for very economical production of high quality product.
We source as much as we can from Bundaberg because firstly, it's a great region. It's a really diverse agricultural basket.
In Bundy, it's just probably known for having a very consistent both sort of rainfall, temperatures, winter temperatures, the sort of diurnal variation or the day-night temperature really lends itself to consistent growth of crops, which allows us to sort of produce consistent quality product.
What makes Bundaberg great for strawberries, I think, is because of the weather. A few degrees hotter than the south. It allows us to grow strawberries a few weeks in advance, so prices are a lot better.
Bundaberg is the biggest passion fruit producing region in Australia. Everybody who has one raves about them. The fact that they're grown here in this region, close to the coast, we believe that the red soil here gives our fruit some magic flavour.
This terrain very much suits macadamias, so we can use bigger machinery and run cheaper enterprises. We put a lot of effort into our soil, so we really believe that by growing the tree we are better off growing the soil. So we find that our production is thanks to our soil, which in part is due to what's applied, be it water or nutrient.
Bundaberg's region for growing is ideal. You get 2 seasons a year. With structures like this, we're actually taking our crops through that winter period to be able to build heat and also be able to take your crop longer into the summer heats as well. So the benefits of the region really work for this type of structure.
On the farms we have all our irrigation is computerised. Fertiliser can go through the irrigation as well, that's called fertigation. And then in our pack house we have our new grading machine. The machine itself takes photos of each piece of fruit as it goes over a cell. Then the computer decides from those photos which size it is, what quality it is, so where it needs to go along on the packing line. The potential excites us. The potential is out there. The avocado industry is growing, so to keep our domestic price up, we need to do export.
The Bundaberg has an abundance of good quality water. It's available and it's of high security. So when you throw those into any crop within the region, I think you'll find that the longer term asset value of the land is increased simply by the water.
We're really proud of the citrus that comes out of our farm, and we send it all around Australia and all over the world. We're fortunate, we're right on the Burnett River here, so we pump straight out of the river, and there's an abundant supply of water there. It's excellent quality water. It's on a very reliable river system. We don't have to be concerned about water availability, which gives us certainty around our plans for the future.
We farm about just over 2,000 hectares of arable land here in Bundaberg. That's a mix of sugar, sweet potato, watermelon, and since the construction of the Paradise Dam back in about 2004-05, I think it was completed, we've had water allocations which have been more than sufficient to be able to allow us to crop basically to our maximum.
The Bundaberg Brewed Drinks makes a brewed soft drink. So 100% of brewing occurs in Bundaberg, no matter where the product is sold in the world or canned in the world. The town has wonderful opportunities, and we have great regional growth in the crops area. So we get some wonderful crops that we can use and some novel crops that we can try to weave into new products.
So when we first came to Bundy, we got the attention of the industry. The first year went successfully. A large part of that was because of the support of Bundy. We were a new strawberry farm. People came through, buy a lot of fruits.
At this stage we harvest all our products, dehusk it. All the husk goes to our compost to look after the soil, get dried. They then get cracked and then sorted into for our brand and then distributed around the world through Asia, Middle East, Europe, US. Yeah, we're expanding, and also the region is expanding at a very quick rate now too. Yeah, we'll be looking to facilitate the growth going forward for the region.
It's one of the big things in favour for Bundaberg from a horticultural perspective is access to labour, a destination for working holiday backpackers that are looking to make some money.
Anyone who's farming will never say that you're in a perfect environment, but look, we've got access to water, we've got access to land, we've got access to infrastructure, we've got access to weather. So, it's four of the major boxes are ticked to farm and to value add and have a very strong agribusiness in Bundaberg. The economic development opportunities in the next 5 to 10 years I think are pretty broad, and that's because of the infrastructure that's evolving, the diversification of investment that's coming into the region, the opportunity for access, for market access to Asia, the list goes on.
If you're considering farming or investing in the agricultural sector, we want you to be part of our success story.
My life in this industry actually started out in general IT when I was at high school with a local business and a little bit of interest in my father's auto electrical business, which led me to studying a mechatronic engineering degree and later returning to Bundaberg to work at Superior Pack. While working at Superior Pack, I actually started my own small consultancy business, and from there I spun out into Quamatic. There's a number of technical opportunities for this type of product out behind us here. They range from not only engineering roles like mine in mechatronics, but also in IT, so managing the data systems, and in more physical aspects, so mechanical and electrical trades that allow you to be a maintenance or a mechanic that works on this type of equipment. The most exciting part about my job is being able to bring automation, bring new technology and bring exciting technology to the Australian agriculture industry. There's a number of job opportunities in robotics, be it agriculture, manufacturing, any aspect. But it ranges not only from an engineering perspective, you can work in IT and support the data systems, or you can work from a mechanical and electrical perspective. TAFE now is offering robotic maintenance diplomas and certificates. The scope is very broad and there's really a job there for everyone if it's a passion of yours. I think the hot tip for me with trying to get into robotics in ag, if you're a young or aspiring person, I think the real key is getting in early, get the work placement, talk to people, go to seminars. The information is out there for us now, so start early and find the thing that you're passionate about, and that will set your pathway forward very clearly.